Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Blue Dragon 5 here.
And Jacob Lyle.
And you guessed it, we're here to talk about the new teaser trailer of the next Pixar film,
Elio.
Elio.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's always weird because it kind of stands to how these kind of spring up on us, where we always do that thing where it's kind of it's the week of, and yet the movie has not come out yet publicly to everyone across the globe, and yet some people have seen it. There we go, they get the trailer, and yeah, we're talking about it.
And I
Gonna
didn't
break
even
it down.
I saw the poster earlier today, but I literally only found out about the trailer about an hour ago.
Yeah,
So so this is Pixar's next feature and the next feature and they're venturing into the realm of sci-fi once again.
that is true.
Which which as we've discussed previously, it's kind of rare for Pixar to go kind of sci-fi.
You can count it on one hand.
I mean, technically, some of the stuff could like fall under umbrellas of sci-fi, but straight sci-fi is something that's kind of rare for them.
Correct. So, yeah, so I mean, I guess just overall, yeah. So the premise of this had been announced before. So I mean, I was a little familiar with the concept of Elio. It's just the first time I've kind of seen it really kind of visualized and officially, kind of like kind of a snippet of what the end product's going to look like beyond concept art, just the premise. I forget if it was D23 or Comic Con, in which they kind of teased up a little bit Elio. I'm unsure. But yeah, so this one is Adrian Molina's baby. Adrian Molina, I don't know if you remember, he was the co-director of
Coco.
Coco. Yeah, and he really, I believe he got to start doing Ratatouille, doing the 2D animation of Ratatouille for the. I forget if it was specifically just Your Friend the Rat or if it was the end credits, but Molina had kind of gotten to start a little bit in the background of Ratatouille.
Mhm.
Possibly a story man on that as well, but because here's the thing: on Toy Story, he was an invaluable story man. He was a very key, like like new blood that we got on Toy Story 3. So that was the thing where he really shined. And then Coco is when he really that was when he was kind of really like Molina was really becoming an entity on Toy Story 3, and then Coco is when he really flourished. And it's unfortunate Molina didn't get as much of the glory on Coco as you imagine he would.
Well, and both were with Lee Unkrich too.
As I'm saying, I think Lee Unkrich. I mean, obviously, Lee Unkrich. He had a lot of, speaking of Toy Story 3, again, most likely why the two of them were paired together on that film. They probably enjoyed working together. Yeah, it's
I mean, I think the other stuff behind the scenes of Coco as to why he was brought on board for that. I think because I think he's actually from Mexico.
well, no, he is Jacob. That's what I was kind of getting at. But yeah. So that's the thing. So it's kind of a shame that ultimately like Lee Unkrich, because Lee Unkrich too, he's kind of a journeyman at Pixar in terms of he was the editor, on the first Toy Story films, and that's really kind of grown into his own. He became a co-director and eventually kind of the lead director. So Agent Millie is kind of following that same trajectory, it seems.
Yeah, and Lee Unkrich is no longer working at Pixar because he left like a couple of years ago.
Oh, really? I didn't know that he officially like. I mean, I knew he hadn't really done stuff. I mean, like, has he? I thought he was like still credited on like the Brain Trust or like kind of like the story, kind of
I,
like.
I mean, that might have been for stuff that was already in production while he was there.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, so he's officially left. That was like.
As I said, I think he left like focus on like spend time with his family, things like that.
Okay. No,
I mean,
no, good for
and,
him.
and I know that's kind of weird to mention considering what literally just happened last week.
Yeah, I know that's the thing. When you said Lee Unkrich isn't there for a moment, I was like, my heart skipped a beat. Like,
It
oh
was,
no, not
but
Lee too.
it wasn't because of the layoffs that happened because of Lightyear.
Right. Yeah, it's a whole thing. But anyway.
But so no, he wasn't one of the ones affected. That he was already gone by that point.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Adrian Molina. It is kind of interesting to see him like. It's unknown if there's currently a co-director for this because sometimes they announce that, sometimes they don't. But
Usually, honestly, co-director doesn't really come out till like after the fact, after the movies come out in a lot of cases, or at least until the press junkets kind of happen. But yeah,
like so, currently it's unknown if there's a co-director. He's the only because I mean I don't think Luca technically had a co-director on it. At least none that's listed as like a main director.
Right.
But so it's like so. And so this, for all we know, this is Adrian Molina. Also, they haven't announced the writer for this yet. They haven't announced anybody writing this yet.
Hmm.
So, but either way, you want to get into it, or do you have any more like background you want to share on this?
Well, not really backwards, just overall thoughts, because we don't know anything about the movie yet, Jacob. But yeah,
Uh,
it looks.
Outside that, I think America Ferrera is voicing the mom. I think.
I mean, it's. Do we know that?
Well, I just checked the. So I'm checking the pics. Let me just check. Elio, Pixar, Pixar. Elio, like confirmed voice cast. It's Jonas Kibrib as Elio Solis.
Okay.
America Ferrera as Olga Solis.
Okay, definitely the mom.
J- Jamila Jamil as Ambassador Cuesta.
Yeah, she's she's from the Good Place. Yeah.
And Brad Garrett as Ambassador Gragon.
Now he did stand out in this, so we at the very least we knew he was definitely going to be in this.
I mean, he's definitely a Pixar veteran.
More on him later, but overall, this looks fun. It looks intimate. It definitely seems to be fitting into the new direction that Pixar has been going in. It fits into the. I've been kind of doing a lot of thinking about Pixar recently. There's kind of like roughly 4 eras of Pixar. And right now, we're in the 4th era, in which we're really kind of kind of the let's just say the literally onward. Basically, Pixar onward from onward to where we're at now. It's kind of like the 4th generation of Pixar.
I mean, considering that was the first movie without Lasseter.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Onward was the first movie not to have any involvement from Lasseter whatsoever.
Exactly, like none whatsoever. None in terms of like him starting the project or him having a credit on the project. So essentially, onward. Sorry, it's kind of a weird turn of phrase, but it kind of fits. It's it's been kind of this 4th generation of Pixar. I mean, yeah, some people might argue 3. I don't know. I kind of look at it as 4 because then you have like post Toy Story 3, and it's a whole anyway. So
all right, so
yeah, point being, this looks interesting and fitting, and kind of like kind of like this kind of new fresh take we've been getting it with the Pixar films lately. So yeah,
all right, that means to the trailer. Here, of course, it starts off with the Disney 100, which I'm unknown if they're going to carry that on into the future.
I mean, at the very least, what is it for this whole year? It's the 100th anniversary. They have all these studios turning 100 this year. So I guess Disney, Disney, Warner Brothers, and Universal.
Like,
no,
I
it's
know
not Universal.
Universal is the same age as Paramount.
Okay, so never mind. Forget Universal.
And I think Paramount was like Paramount and Universal were both in 1912.
Okay, the point being, you have a couple of studios turning 100, Disney and Warner Brothers at the bare minimum.
Kind of interesting how many times their fates have been intertwined in that way.
True.
I mean, considering that they were both rivals in the animation industry, then Disney got Marvel.
It does bring to mind something funny when Brad, in that great documentary I told you about, the Giant's Dream, the Iron Giant documentary, you see the antagonism between Disney and Warner Brothers, and Brad Bird is kind of leading the charge, against Disney, like to rally the animators, and just given what happened a few years later, it's really funny.
And then he went on to work with them like 3 times.
They had like a lot of great sound bites from Brad Bird too. The whole we're not Disney, we're Warner Brothers.
Yep, and then he went on to directed 3 films for Pixar and 1 live action movie for them.
Yep.
I guess it was just like he was just trying. It was just a rallying cry.
Yeah, it was a rallying cry, nothing personal. Because remember, well, again, I don't want to. You got to really watch that documentary, Jacob. But again, Brad Bird, he did get a start at Disney before ending up at Warner Brothers for a time. So it's all relative.
He tutored under Milt. He was tutored under Milt Call.
Precisely, exactly. So that's the thing. So he was, even back then, he wasn't saying that with malice. He was just saying that to rally the troops.
Yep. And of course, like Disney has Marvel, obviously the rival of DC, which Warner Brothers owns, and now they're turning 100 together.
Yes. Okay. So we could probably ditch the banner for now while we're doing the shot by shot here.
Okay. It just seems like their fates are forever intertwined.
That is correct, sir. Okay, now also we should turn the sound off.
Right, sorry. There we go.
All right, let's do it.
But I do have the captions on.
Good, good.
The Arch, Pixar.
Yeah, love that lamp. I had that lamp my birthday cake this year.
Nice.
Okay, so here we have. Yeah, go on.
Do you want to stop at these shots or?
Not yet, not yet. Just we're kind of.
I'd honestly be surprised if this doesn't do it's like some kind of shout out to 2001: A Space Odyssey. I mean, there's so many sci-fi movies that do that.
That's true. I mean, Pixar does have a love for 2001. They reference this at times, most famously Wall-E, and honestly, Wall-E and Toy Story 2 both have 2001 references in them.
What's the one from Toy Story?
Yeah, remember when during the Buzz Lightyear video game when he's leaping towards the battery on the floating platforms, it's to the tune of dun dun dun. He hops twice, dun dun, and then he falls, and then yeah.
I mean, I know that's also like an actual piece of existing music, classical music.
Yeah, but it's come on, it's
I know, but it's iconic because of 2001.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stanley Kubrick.
Yep. Gooby.
Thus spoke Zasathura or Zarathustra. I always get that last part mixed up.
All right. Anyway, so space.
For centuries, we have called out to the universe, looking for answers.
So Elio's mom here, from what I understand, she works for the military, and she's been kind of working on the whole, let's try and seek out intelligent life on other planets and try to communicate with them, and that's kind of what she's doing here rather ardently. So again, this is going to be America forever, apparently.
And apparently it's kind of it looks like it's some kind of a stand-in for NASA.
Well, essentially, kind of like a Space Force branch of NASA sort of thing. So yeah, right now we are... So right now, I suspect this is like we're pulling a clip from kind of probably tail end of Act 1 here.
Yeah, that or this is something specifically made for the movie itself.
It's always
for the trailer.
Always possible given how the teasers. Honestly, if you look at Pixar's teasers, they kind of shifted in terms of how they used to be something entirely crafted for the marketing. I'm not saying we don't have some exceptions to this, but if you look at the recent, again, the era 4 Pixar here,
I mean, they did do that. They did do that for Elemental.
I mean, yeah, I think you're right about that, but again, we haven't seen the movie yet, so we won't really know until then. But I think you're right. I was gonna say it's not a certainty, but for the most part, if you do notice, like Turning Red, for example, it's pulled from the movie.
Yeah, I kind of miss it when they did more stuff like that.
Yeah, like for example, what the best part about that was? It was the fact that it was like the testing ground. For example, Mike and Sully, they did not. They were the Mike and Sully test with the kid from Mongolia.
I was gonna bring that's the one I was gonna bring up.
Exactly. So that's them kind of like they don't have all the pieces quite yet. They're just kind of they're kind of feeling it out a little bit.
Like, it's Mongolia. It's like, how can you misread that? Like, oh, I'm sorry. I had to check the chart with his one eye.
All
right. Bring us your leader. Classic alien stuff. Call it from her son.
Yes, those were a few things to deconstruct here. Okay, let's go back to before the phone falls, where we can see the picture fully.
I know. I'm just going back slowly instead of like that.
Cool. Yeah, right there. Okay, so we see.
I just realized they kind of almost look like Aardman-esque.
I mean, a little.
Kind of. Mainly the smile.
Right. So yeah, so you'll see right here we have Olga and her husband and Elio, at least either that or just Elio's father. And look at the detailing here is what we have a moment here. Look at that little hand-painted frame. Look at that.
That is a nice painting.
Now, detail, though, however, big detail story-wise here. You'll notice Elio has 2 eyes.
Yeah.
That's him as a kind of a young buck. It's him in kind of a toddler mode here. And then we're going to drop the phone. And it's up, and still 2 eyes. And that's a recent photo. So
it's like either he lost an eye or he's just pretending something.
Exactly. I think maybe less pretending. Well, you're right. He could be pretending, either pretending, or I think it's like not a like a lost eye, maybe like a pink eye thing or something. I don't know, like some sort of like something to alienate him from the kids at school, perhaps.
Alienate.
Yes,
There he is, and
there's the boy.
there's our protagonist.
Yes, so Elio here is an 11-year-old kid. The idea, from what I understand, is that he's kind of a he's kind of a sheltered youth having trouble fitting in, which again would probably he's probably going to kind of grow out of that shell once he's interacting with space aliens. But yeah, I'm imagining this is probably at the end of like oddly I saw parallels to Iron Giant here. It's like probably kind of like a mix of like Hogarth alone at home, but probably after a bad day at school would be my guess.
Yeah, to bring back the parallels from earlier.
Yes. So that's the thing. So Elio here, I love everything about this performance, even though it's just the teaser trailer, man. I love the
I mean,
vulnerability in this kid.
I kind of like how they got an actual child to voice him.
Well, they've always done that at Pixar, if you think about it.
I know, but it's just kind of rare.
The tradition goes on.
Yep. I mean, they literally got a baby to voice Boo,
Yeah.
who, if you think about it, now is probably in her late 20s.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, probably more. Well, maybe more early 20s because the anniversary was only like 2 years ago for 20 years. So
Oh yeah, probably like mid
there you
20s
go.
at least.
There you go. Early to mid 20s at most. But yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So point being, Elio here is calling his mother for some words of encouragement, and he's calling it at a bad time, and this is going to backfire on everyone.
This is a really bad time. Okay. Bye. Love you.
So again, this is just heartbreaking. Just the delivery on this is heartbreaking, and I love that this is kind of like the mother essentially seeing the abduction of her son to some degree, at the very least, before she'll pick up on the breadcrumbs of what's happened here, and she was there, not really being there for him.
It's like she said it's a bad time, but then this happened. And it's like yeah, I'm sorry to inconvenience you. I'm sorry I'm being abducted.
Okay, so this is really cool too, and how we're doing the abduction. So I think the idea is he's like by the shore or something, and basically as he's being abducted, like all the water is kind of freezing, like when it's probably coming out of the water.
It is some nice looking water animation.
Oh, of course. I mean, again, Pixar they've kind of now built a house on all the water animation. We're about to see like half like a quarter of a populace that are animated in water.
It's like I think they're just showing off at this point.
Yep. Yeah, water. Yeah, we can do that now. Yeah, very easily. You know what we can do in water? That's freezing the water. Ha! Small potatoes. I'm going to give you a quarter of a population of water people.
And fire people.
And fire people and earth people and
Wind people.
Wind people. Yeah.
Elemental.
Yeah. Try that on for size, bucko. But yeah, so we have a kind of a cool, a lot of people had drawn parallels to Nope, by the way, with the poster for this movie, and basically this money shot here, and I think it's funny.
For some reason, this shot kind of reminds me of the Lifted.
Well, you're right, it's Lifted. I mean, the thing it really reminds me more so of is Star-Lord for Guardians of the Galaxy when Peter Quill gets abducted at the start of that movie.
Yeah, that is a good point.
And the fact is, like kid alone, in need of a mother, abducted by aliens. He's going to go on an adventure, and he's stuff like that.
I mean, that does make sense, yeah. And of course, the shot of the wave kind of reminds me of the Great Wave.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I'm saying it is because I have a poster of the Great Wave in my room.
Was it that great?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about, like the wood print, the Japanese.
Yeah, no, I know the wood print. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just is it that great really though?
It is. Yes.
It is.
I mean, it's like one of the most famous images in the world for a reason.
Yeah. Okay. So, boy is abducted. We have a premise. We have a movie now.
No.
I love they say no, thank you. We're showing this is a good boy, kids. He's not like a wiseacre. He's earnest as he comes.
Yep. There he goes. There he goes being.
Thank you.
Disney and Pixar summon you.
So we're seeing the communiverse. At least that's kind of I don't know how seriously a term that is later on when the Brad Garrett character coins it. But we're seeing essentially a kind of an intergalactic United Union, United Nations of some sort.
United Planets,
Essentially, yes.
or they call it like the United Species or something like
And again, it's kind of like borrowing from a number of things. Obviously, it's kind of one of those things, like the old English class thing of like, yeah, every story's been told to a degree. Like we've seen a lot of similar stuff, but again, we're putting kind of a unique visual spin on it here, and who knows what else they're going to come up with in the movie? Because like Lilo and Stitch, we have kind of like the other Lilo and Stitch, or a Star Trek, we have like a federation of sorts.
Federation of Planets. Yeah.
There you go, like a federation of planets. So yeah,
Yeah, and of course, which is paired in Futurama.
of course that too. Yeah, so yeah. Noticing a lot of organic shapes here. If you notice, like no real hard surfaces, going for like like kind of a bioorganism thing, perhaps.
This kind of reminds me of like the comic book Valerian and Valerian.
I mean, I guess Valerian. I don't know if I equate it to Valerian, but you're right. There's a little bit of Valerian in there.
Kind of like the City Thousand Planets. Kind
Yeah,
of.
that's a thing. So it
Not,
looks
not,
kind of
not the movie, but the actual comic.
yeah.
Valerian and Celestine, I think her name was.
No idea. All right.
And Laureline, that was it. Valerian and Laureline.
We have Richard's victims in the comments saying, "I'm just saying that Mars needs moms." Yeah.
Well, hopefully this is better than Mars Needs Moms.
I mean, I'm sure even at its worst, it would be better than Mars needs moms.
Yeah. Do you smell mascot?
A little bit.
Like-
I think this movie is gonna. A part of me, the anime. Of course, Pixar a lot of time, ever since the beginning, it's like they wanted to make movies that they would love to enjoy. Then, like an animator could really sink their teeth into to some degree. So in this case, it's gonna be animators are gonna have so much fun with all the alien designs and all the creature, all the species designs, and this little guy here.
I can imagine them like making merchandise of this thing.
Oh yeah.
Like apparently it's called Ooh.
Yep. Ooh.
Peter, those are Cheerios.
Oh god, I miss Family Guy in its heyday.
I was like, that's a good. But Brian, look, there's a message in my alphabets. It says Ooh.
Cheerios, Peter.
It's like Peter, those are Cheerios.
Great.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. State the whole world. Earth. Vassiter Cuesta.
Yes, now I believe this is the Jamelia.
Jamila Jamil.
Yes, of course she was Titania in She-Hulk, and she was no, sorry, not Janet. She was I think if they just let her keep her name in The Good Place or not, but yes, the character from The Good Place as well.
Oh, nice. I haven't actually seen The Good Place, unfortunately.
Well, you can guess. It's pretty good.
Well, I kind of figured. Is it also place?
Oh, it's got places galore, my friend. It's got all sorts of places. It's got places for days.
Nice.
But yeah, so basically they're welcoming him to the fold. There, he's basically an ambassador for Earth in this case.
Taking a picture.
Oh, there's an Easter egg for it. I just noticed this. I mean, I figured it was something, but I'm just looking at it right now. That is the character from Burrow or Burrowed. Is it with Burrowed or Burrow?
Burrow.
Burrow. It's the character from Burrow. It's a little rabbit.
I think it's Burrow. I think it might be. It could be either one. I don't remember.
Well, point being the burrowing short that is the little rabbit character from that. I wonder if Molina had any hands in that, because that does seem that kind of fit his style animation wise. I got to look into that, see if that was. I don't think it was him. You know what? It wasn't him, but I wouldn't be surprised if he had hands in that though, just given how similar it looks style wise to his work.
I mean, that was like one of the Spark shorts, so I don't. So it's hard to.
That's the thing. So no, it's not him. So I mean, not in the director chair, the writer chair. I don't know. I wonder if maybe he oversaw it. But I think you're right. Okay.
But that is clearly modeled after an iPhone.
Well, yeah, it's the case for the iPhone.
No, I mean like they look at the actual camera too. That's the same like lineup that an iPhone has.
Okay.
Which makes sense considering how integrated.
Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Look at these different character designs in here. Like some big, some small, some organic, some possibly not looking organic.
Admittedly, I am seeing a little bit, just for a moment, I'm seeing kind of a combination of two things. I'm seeing a combination of, of course, Pixar, they love their Star Wars. There's a little bit of the Galactic Senate going on here.
I am the Senate.
There's a little bit of, it's vague, a little bit of Lilo and Stitch's council, as well as just kind of like, even if you look at a lot of design work in Lilo and Stitch, you have like the prison cells, which I actually saw a really delightful shirt of the prison cells from Lilo and Stitch. And kind of like there's like this, the way it's kind of arranged, like you have like all the glass like cells, and you have like all the different varying sizes and everything.
Nice.
All right.
But yeah, like you can see like some kind of like modeled after like a lot of marine life inspirations in these
Sure.
aliens. Well, another good shot of some of the aliens here. Like,
Oh yeah.
there's her over here. The guy in the center that looks like the guy that Brad Garrett plays. See all kinds of.
Well, notice who is in the center here.
Yep. Oh, so you're not the leader of Earth. Sorry for the mix-up. And of course, they're automatically destroying it. Let's memory wipe. What do you want to bet that he's actually not the bad guy in this?
No, he's not the bad guy. He just looks intimidating.
Yeah, it's probably the idea.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. I like that he's like in the center, though. So this guy does have some clout. So this is of course, the Brad Garrett member of the council, and he's now. Here's the thing: I speculate, and I could be wrong here. I speculate because given that I think he was kind of like the low man on the totem pole on Ratatouille, but I like to think, regardless whether directly or not, he loved. He loved the character of Gusteau from Ratatouille, so he wanted to bring back Brad Garrett. That's my theory on why he is playing this large role in this film.
Like, well, remember, this is like his fourth time in a Pixar movie, too.
No, I know that. I'm just saying why specifically in terms of the correlation. Aside from like we just like everyone be out of their mind not to like Brad Garrett, but it's the fact that yes, we've brought Brad Garrett back a few times, but to give him like this big a role makes me think the biggest role we've ever given Brad Garrett prior to this was on Ratatouille with Gusteau.
I mean, not to be fair, all of his roles were fairly big. I mean, he was Tank in Bug's Life. He was Bloat.
No. Tanks from Goofy, the extremely goofy movie. You're thinking of Dim in A Bug's Life.
Dim, right? Dim from Dim, right?
Yes,
He is still pretty big though. So.
No, you're right. He is. He's yeah. Fine. He's playing big characters, but in terms of a substantial role.
But he was also a Tank in Goofy movie.
He was great as Tank in the Goofy movie.
Yep, and extremely goofy movie.
And yes.
But he was Dim in Bug's Life. He was Bloat in Finding Nemo.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Gusteau in Ratatouille.
And this is his fourth role. Yes.
Yeah, so he does have some history with them, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, but I like to think Molina had some pull in like selection of like, I loved him as Gusteau. Let's bring him back for this. All right.
They said, considering like the line at the end of the trailer and considering this, I think they're like, yeah, he's probably not going to be the bad guy, just a bit overeager.
Yeah. So we have the threat of a memory wipe. Memory wipe. Yes.
Memory wipe.
Yes, so we have the threat of a memory wipe, and basically that kind of is the impetus for the lie here. Like, I am the leader of Earth. Yeah, oh for sure, yeah. That brings about the interesting challenge here. Like, so as we establish here with how they say goodbye to this kid, they are getting everything they know about this planet purely from this 11-year-old, the sheltered 11-year-old child.
There's something I like the little detail of like them having their planets in front of them.
That is really, I didn't notice that until you brought it up. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yep.
Nice.
I like that. At least for like them. Yeah, well,
when you speak, it probably is more present, but yeah.
And it doesn't look like it's appearing on any of the others, so it might be for like the main council members.
Or at least when you talk, your planet's going to show, maybe. I don't know.
Because I was a kid, well, obviously not.
I mean, honestly, if you freeze frame, you can kind of see a little bit of a glow in front of each little panel. So, I mean, maybe it's just subtle. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. See, because you can see one kind of under his.
Yeah. So I'd say maybe either when you talk or in general, it's just subtle. But yeah, it's there.
Like his armor kind of does have like a little sinister face to it.
It does. It does. I
So
mean, we know what he did to his mother, so this guy is intimidating.
yeah, the trial of Earth can proceed,
So that's bad.
which is
Okay, so the fact that the Earth is in jeopardy here, and based on the testimony of an 11-year-old boy.
it's kind of like the day the Earth stood still, almost.
Yep.
Which I'm sure they'll probably also reference in this movie.
Oh, no doubt.
I mean, granted, granted, an 11-year-old doesn't defend Earth in the day the Earth stood still, but
He could have.
he could have, yeah. But yeah, there's probably going to bring up a lot. There's probably going to be some issues brought up in there. So
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if we're gonna if it's gonna be like we're gonna perceive the big issues of the world through an 11-year-old's perspective, maybe.
yep. And then it might turn it on its head, like maybe your guys' societies aren't so good either.
Like a couple comments I want to highlight here. So,
And let me switch then. Well, I have faith that Pixar will make a better movie than Mars Needs Moms.
oh yeah. Then we have okay, random. Did you see Charlie Kaufman's writing a freaking DreamWorks movie? Yes,
Well, he already did write one in 2008, 2009, or whatever.
do you mean animated one or you just mean a DreamWorks movie in general?
He wrote a dream. He was what he was an uncredited writer of Kung Fu Panda 2.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
no, that's pretty interesting though.
Yeah.
Yeah, look it up. He wasn't credited in the final movie, but he was an uncredited writer for it.
Right.
And
Cool.
also, hi Sonia.
All right.
They'll go to Earth assuming, and then they'll find out about nukes and go, Jesus Christ, why did you tell us about this? I'm only in it for the candy and toys.
Yeah, it's gonna be quite the quite the awakening if they try and show up like, hey, let's be all peaceful. Like it's like, oh god, they're trying to kill us. Why didn't you tell us this?
Hey, for all we know, this could be like a secret thriller or something.
Oh, for sure.
Pixar's been known to pull the rug out of under us plenty of times.
That's true.
Who would have? No one suspected going into Toy Story 3 that'd be the Great Escape,
Yeah.
or Cars 3. Well, maybe not Cars 3. That's a bad example. But Pixar has been known to pull the wool out of under eyes, pull the wool out. Pull the
I don't
wool.
think anyone went into Brave expecting what Brave actually was.
No, it's like oh, it's a girl fighting for her independence,
Well, that and her mom turns into a bear.
and they also fight a bear
Yeah.
monster, and they fight a monster bear.
Yeah.
Let's see
Right.
what I mean. What other ones are there? Like,
Let's not get too down the rabbit hole on that, but
so for all I know, this could turn into some kind of like courtroom drama or kind of some kind of thriller or something.
true.
Okay, bye. I love you.
So that's just really funny. Is the idea they're just taking the one message they got is like, okay, that's the custom.
It's like, oh, like you can see all the planets here.
Oh, see there we go.
Yeah, so that's a pretty interesting detail. Bye, I love you, Elio.
Yep.
Which is a bit different. This logo's a bit different from the one they initially revealed, where the O was kind of like a galaxy kind of thing.
Oh yeah, but they're kind of animating a little bit more now.
Yep.
So yes, the Communiverse,
This shot's probably going to show up in a couple more trailers.
most likely.
Pixar always likes to show off this kind of stuff. Like it's like, hey, look what we can do.
Yeah, we're going full space here, and not just like floating trash in space. We're talking, next levels.
Like honestly, I don't think this will be. It probably won't be as good as Wall-E was, but I'm honest. I'm always open for Pixar stuff.
Yeah.
Like you can like see some kind of like cities down here, over here, kind of going to the whole like zero gravity aspect of it all. Kind of like a Mobius city kind of thing, like
Little bit.
like the Mobius strip city or whatever.
Yeah.
Or even like Mobius the comic book artist.
Yeah, maybe him.
Maybe him too. I kind of like these like wind chime like things. I'd like one. I'd like actually like to hang up one of these in my room. These look pretty neat. I ate my mother at birth, but a moment of great success, I regret it.
Is that like a thing for your species?
No, just a
No,
me thing.
no, just a
Everyone,
me thing.
everyone was shocked. That raises some. That raises a few
That's
questions.
a bold joke that sets the tone for this movie
Yeah, that,
just so well. This is the idea that hey, we had our kind of our fun Brad Garrett character. He just admitted that he ate his mother at birth, and not like just like unaware. It was like, yeah, I know, I just decided to eat my mother. It's kind of like a thing. Everyone was a little shocked by it.
like yeah, it's not exactly the kind of joke you'd expect to end a Pixar trailer on.
Yeah,
I mean, no, it's not just in me because there are obviously species of animals and things in reality that eat their offspring or eat their parents after they die or whatever. But you wouldn't expect that here,
I just want to
especially
take him.
and to even confirm that it's just specifically something that he did,
Yeah,
just because he seemed like he felt like it.
I just want to take a moment here to acknowledge something.
Yeah,
It's just that in looking at like where we're at now in kind of the eras of Disney and Pixar,
yeah,
it seems that Pixar, even their teaser trailers versus Disney and their teaser trailers, it seems that Pixar just has not lost a step in terms of like kind of luring in with the intrigue, at least for the most part. Just the idea that where Disney right now is having, whether the movies are turning out like as promised or not, it's just this matter of their marketing is not good. Marketing has not been good for their animated films. I mean, I to the point where like my friends who are animation geeks, they're not being sold by these trailers. Now, again, that's not to say if they watch the movies, they would these recent movies, they would not be blown away by them. Like they liked Raya. They again they. I'm sure if they watch Strange World, they'd like it. But again, does that trailer did do any favors? So that's where I'm kind of coming at it. Where it looks like this again, even if you don't get the full picture with this movie, there's intrigue there. You get a laugh, you get some intrigue, you get some visuals. There's enough of a sell at least to get you coming back for like the full trailer to see where it goes from there.
all right.
Where you look at this Wish movie Disney has coming out, this Wish movie looks generic as it gets. It's Alan. The best part. It's Alan Tudyk talking as like the little was it like the little goat. That's the most intrigue that has. The only wrong Alan Tudyk is anything is a treat, but still, it's like okay.
And of course the visuals of it.
I mean, yeah, but even then, it just feels like okay. So wishing, and we're hyping up the whole "when you wish upon a star" thing, and even so, it doesn't really feel like momentous as it probably should be. So I'm just saying, whether that again, for all I know, that movie could turn out to be something brilliant. But all I know is right now the way they're selling that movie, not great. And that's not to say it's impossible. Like, look at Frozen. Frozen had a very misdirected marketing campaign, but ultimately turned out wonderful.
Yeah.
So it's just gonna wind up the Pixar again. I think they're even in like little snippets of this, they're setting the tone just right.
Like, the funny thing is, like these movies have a history. Some of the even with Pixar, they sometimes these have a history of like not exactly winning people over. Like I remember wanting to go see Up, and my mom didn't really want to see it, and she thought it looked kind of dumb. And now it's one of her favorite movies of all time. So
To be fair, Up was like the hardest sell ever for an animated movie, though.
an old man flies a house with balloons.
I was saying, like their teaser was Carl Fredricksen just as an old man floating in a house, like up saying "afternoon." That was their teaser.
Yep.
That was it. They didn't really tell you anything about the movie. It was like okay, but again, it was it's
Obviously, it turned out to be one of their biggest successes ever.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. See, sometimes just nobody knows nothing. Sometimes some yeah.
And of course, Elio's is their next movie after Elemental,
Yep.
it comes out March 1st, 2024.
See, apparently they're doing all the E movies for Pixar right now. It's gonna go back
Well,
to back.
well, 3 months after that, they're doing an I movie,
Ah, you're right.
Inside Out 2.
Yep. Yeah.
Comes out June 14th, 2024.
See, at some point, I wonder if it's in the future we're gonna have like a whole alphabet of Pixar movies. We're gonna have some with a Z at some point.
I'm trying to see, like, it doesn't look like there's a movie that they have that has Z in it.
Oh, I know they. Yeah, no, there's no. At least they have right now. There's a lot of the untitled Pixar movies like kind of listed amongst the bunch right now. So we really have no way of knowing at this juncture. But you know,
I mean, there's three currently unannounced. Like, it's just kind of funny that Inside Out 2 is literally coming out 3 months after this.
yeah,
And
I'm still campaigning for like give Dave Mullins a movie Pixar.
Lou,
Give Mullins give Mullins his time in the spotlight.
he's the one who did Lou, right?
Yes, he did Lou, and it was excellent. Oh, I love Lou so much.
For like I said, there's three unannounced, so he might be one of the ones doing that.
I hope to God that's like in terms of like my director lottery there. It's like yes, come on, fingers crossed for Mullins, like little lottery draw of like the pick. Wouldn't that be hilarious if that's how they picked them? Sometimes like okay, we're gonna put all these little balls with director names on them in this little like lottery machine, this little ball thing, and we're gonna we're gonna spin and see who comes out of all the shorts directors, and you're gonna give them their big shot there. That's how we get okay. Domi she's up like oh I won, all right. Never, yeah.
And then there's one. There's only one in 2025, and then two in 2026.
Yep, and also right now, this year we're gonna have that Win Lose show, so we have that to look forward to.
Yep. I mean, from the looks of things, in odd months they're doing one movie in June, and in even years they're doing two movies, one in March and one in June. At least for the next few years.
Yeah, I mean, I guess them doing March and June hasn't really happened since
Onward.
well, yeah,
Onward was released in March.
I know. I was gonna, yes, in March. Onward and Soul, yes.
Soul was released in December.
Are you sure about? Oh, it wasn't originally supposed to be in June. Then it got pushed because of the pandemic.
Yeah, it was literally released on Christmas Day.
No, you're right, but I guess what I'm thinking was the original slate of that. But you're right. I'm saying initially in terms of that, but the 2 year thing, yeah. So I guess they're going back to what the original model was pre-pandemic for what that 2 movie a year formula would be.
Yes, because Cars 3 and Coco came out in the same year. Then Incredibles and Toy Story 4 came out in separate years.
Yes.
And then Onward and Soul.
Okay, now we're just listing things. I think we should wrap it up.
I know, but the Turning Red and Lightyear came out in the March and June. What do you know?
All right.
I'm just saying that seems to be the pattern from here on out.
Yeah, I mean that's one they can do 2 a year. I guess that seems to be what they're conforming to right now. Yeah.
Well, either way. So, final thoughts, Dragon. You looking forward to Elio?
I am. I mean, again, we're really kind of in the infancy of what this movie's about. But I mean, in premise and just kind of in feeling, just with what I'm getting from this, I'm intrigued. I want to see it.
Yeah, it kind of leaves you wondering how exactly is Earth going to be on trial? What will Elio do to get out of this situation?
And of course, anytime the Earth is on trial, it's a question of how the heck are we going to get ourselves out of that dodge? Because we're goners.
I mean, there are several things that have discussed this and have shown this kind of situation. Can't really think of any at the moment, but all I know is seems to be interesting so far. It looks like they're reaching into their sci-fi belts and they're like, okay, we showed you WALL-E, now see what else we can do.
Yeah.
So, all right. So that does a Dragon. Want to do an outro or something?
That does it. Well, folks, that's going to do it for us for right now. But again, look forward to next week. We're going to be covering Elemental. Ordinarily, we cover it a little sooner, but between basically we have the Flash coming out, and there's it's also Father's Day, and there's like a whole bunch of we have like some documentaries coming out. It's going to be the whole thing. So Elemental will be next week, but it will definitely be as soon as we can next week. Soon once we give some of our guests have seen the movie and everything. So yeah.
Hopefully very good special documentary.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
So we have a full slate coming up. So thank you for tuning in for Elio, and we'll see you when it comes out.
Yep. Don't eat your mothers, kids. You'll regret in moments of success.
Exactly.